Anyway, so we have different kinds of incubation initiatives across the country. The day before, I was in a meeting where we had people from Y Combinator, SoftBank, and things of that nature. The people who have been Intel Capital, the CEOs of the people who ran those things. One of the questions that was asked there was, when will India will have something similar to Y Combinator? Okay, so we have many of them, and some of you I think probably have seen the T Hub recently, or I saw in the program that you were I think day before. Some of you probably have visited that place. So like that, we say it's India's largest or world's largest incubation space, and I'm one of the founding members of T Hub, so that I can relate to that. But what is important thing is, much of the talk that goes on in this country is all about, because there are few companies that become very big, like what you call unicorns, whatever it is. And everybody talks about unicorns kind of thing. But there is a room only for so many of them. If you have 150, or I see somewhere that number here of technology, or different incubators, not all of them can produce, so many unicorns. And the market also does not, it cannot absorb so many of them or create opportunity for so many. In between the billion-dollar companies and just a startup, there are many businesses. Actually, the number of those businesses are a lot more. What we normally call micro businesses, small businesses, medium businesses. So the MSMEs, that number is very big. Nobody talks to them, nobody talks about them, because it's not very exciting to say, well, my business is 10 crore business, is 100 crore business kind of thing. Everybody wants to talk about billions and billions. So that is the issue. So if you say that, and we are also a technology incubator, or we are technology business incubator, or what number of them, Atal Innovation Centers, many of them that exist there. Each one of us should stand for something very unique. Otherwise, we're all the same. People come there, they start something, and like the professor was saying, the success rate is so low. And that's not today. It was very low even when I started, it's now 30 years ago. Even that time also it's low. Even in the big companies also it's very low, by the way. The difference is that the small ones die, infant mortality rate is very high. The large ones also die, by the way. We die, 80, 90, 100 years kind of thing people live probably at the best. And then the companies also same thing. If you took the snapshot of the companies in 1900, and same, again you take this snapshot of the companies in 2000, top 100 companies, there are only 2 that remain. And I have seen myself, many of the companies that I used to dream about when I was growing up in Silicon Valley, they don't exist today. Or they exist just also kind of thing. And this is not too many years ago. I moved from India to Silicon Valley in 1984, 40 years ago. In 40 years, what were then the leading companies don't exist today. So there is a mortality of the large companies also, world leaders also, there's a mortality there. So we need to have the clarity in our mind, what is that we are trying to address. Okay, if all of us are talking about this unicorn kind of thing, the scope, and the opportunity, only so many of them. Again, an incubator that's based in somewhere in Coimbatore and the incubator that's based in IIT Bombay, it's not the same. IIT Bombay offers the ecosystem there is different. And again, the ecosystem at Coimbatore is different. So if we have an incubator in Coimbatore, it should be looking for excellence in manufacturing and the things that where Coimbatore naturally offers for. In Mumbai, find technology and financial services, various other things that happen there. In between these two, there are many areas that there are many companies that being started or they exist today kind of thing. So we have to look at each of the incubators to see what is that we want to specialize in. I'll just give a little anecdote to you. Recently, there's one of these 150 is also there in IIIT Sri City. That's outside the Chennai, about 50 kilometers from Chennai, but in a rural setting, and in a city called Sri City, which is one of the largest industrial parks in the country. It's a 10,000 acres industrial park with 220 companies from 30 countries, including Russia. We don't have any Russian companies in India. We do have one there. And there are two universities, IIIT Sri City and Korea University. And there also there is a technology business incubator, and there's something called Station S, another incubation center there. So they were also asking me, saying that, Srini, what is your idea? You've been in the investment ecosystem for the last 25 years. And also I've been part of a number of universities which also have incubation centers, whether it's ISB, IIIT, or any of those. I'm talking about IIIT Hyderabad. So I just said that, you have to look at something. Don't do what IIT Bombay does, or not even what IIT Chennai does. You have to do something what they don't do, and where the local ecosystem can help them to grow. So example is that they have 200 companies, big companies. They're all MNCs you just name most of the MNCs that exist today in India, they are there. But they don't have a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers there. Most of them get their components from abroad, like the Foxconn, for example. They get all components, not some, all components from abroad. They just assemble here and export, and we write in newspaper saying Foxconn has Apple exported some, $10 billion. Probably they imported $9.9 billion. Just to get the stamp made in India, and I'm not saying it's bad, that's still, we like that also. We want that business also. But now ask the question, out of these components that they have imported, that $9 billion worth of components, what is that we can do there? And that's not addressed because that depth doesn't exist for us. So what I suggest is that wherever you are, look for what is that you can be very different, either the people-wise or the ecosystem that exists there. Focus on those businesses. And then you'll be able to add value better than anybody else. That's one part. Second thing is, most of you who also located in geographically distributed, every state central government has some kind of incentives. How many of you know what incentives are available for whom? And if somebody has to do Google, but nowadays I do mostly ChatGPT, you ask them, but then I ask, what is the number of people? How many people use your ChatGPT for everyday business? Not for chatting kind of things. Can I ask you the question again? How many of you use ChatGPT for your business? Okay. Not to ask, what movie is going on, where kind of thing, just purely for business purpose. So it does give a lot of information. I do it regularly. Before I kind of say anything, or before I meet someone, I first do the ChatGPT and about the topic and at least get to know a little bit about it. Now with these kind of tools and all, they're available, but people do not know even today what incentive programs they have, what are the rules and regulations and all of them. So I would actually request each one of you to specialize in that, so that a lot more people will come to you. It's not just only you're helping the new startups, give the space to them, introduce them to venture capital people and mentors and all that. That goes on. But also important is there's a lot of MSME businesses that are around there. They'll all come to you if they think that you have the expertise to help them. It's not only giving the information. In fact, I've been proposing at few places, it should become a help desk. So they don't have to run around these government offices to get information or to apply something. So in AP government, now there's a change of government there, we actually said that, don't go anybody, it should not go to Amaravati. Just go to this help desk. They should be able to do much of the things. Even if you have to get the permission, take every week 4 or 5 applications for it. Go there, one person goes instead of every company going around trying to get the various permissions. So they'll get it. So the incubators can also help in non-money, non-mentor related things, because most of the companies struggle there. Initial days, service companies, fine, it's easy, there's not much there. But if you get into manufacturing or you do anything on the ground, you have to get 5-6 permissions from the government various agencies, including the simple things like income tax registration, GST, and all that. So in addition to it, you have shops and establishment, various, depending on the business, you have their permission. It will be nice if that help desk is created at wherever you are, your incubation, to offer those things for these micro, small, medium guys probably don't need it, but micro and small enterprises, they will really appreciate that. So then they keep coming in. I saw the revenue sources being listed there, few of them. It could be this also. Help them about the incentive schemes, how to get the bank loans, and getting the permissions from the various government agencies. That also could be a service. I think a lot of people will appreciate that. Okay. So it is just instead of thinking all of us being, okay, when do we create the next $1 billion company? If our motto is we want to help the entrepreneurs, then the whole equation changes. So it could be for that area, for that institute, not only for the faculty and the students who are coming out of that institute, but also for the people who live and work in the neighborhood. It helps them too. So that's what something which I've been advocating, at least in Sri City case, that the gentleman who runs there, he said, okay, we'll do it kind of thing. There is an IFMR business school also there. So they said they'll come together and do it. So that's another aspect of it. Then the third point I wanted to make is that, I see here 150, 200 members in ISBA. All of you to start exchanging information, not once in a year like in a conference like this, but can be on a continuous basis. So what are the things that one can do? Like, so you say that, okay, we want to get some investors. Problem is that everybody wants to go and ask them saying that, can you please come for our conference? ISB has a conference, IIIT has a conference, T-Hub has a conference, CCMB has a conference here today. It's difficult for people to come and to participate and do it. So, but they're willing to give that 1 hour time. So do it online. The online conversations with the people there, whether it's investors, mentors, whatever it is. And in online, the advantage is that you don't have to travel from wherever you are. All of you can benefit in that 1 hour that venture capitalist or the mentor or whoever is giving. Now I've been hearing I just came in the middle of the talk by our 2 IIT professors. And it was, for me also, it's a learning experience there. And they can do the same thing, periodically for the members of this. So that way what happens is it's good to meet once in a year. I'm not saying that you should not, but it's important to do it on a continuous basis and get the, advice, whatever the help that we are seeking from either from the government, related entities, investors, mentors, knowledge sharing, whatever it is. So that all can be done by actually continuously working on, if you want to call it ISBA University, instead of depending on the WhatsApp University. So it can be on the ISBA University. And some of those people who have the privilege of locating in a top level university or being in a large city and having an alumni of very prominent people, they do benefit. For them it's a little easier than somebody who's there in little distance away. But the distance away thing is also very important for the nation, because we're not building only large companies. We have to build micro companies, small companies, everything is required. That's all make it. And not that, and I want to end my topic with a negative thing, but I want to tell you, today the bigger issue is that all these large companies, you say, Amazon, Flipkart, they're all importing and selling goods. None of them make anything. Their value addition is very minimal. They're delivering to you at your home, no doubt. But they continue to do it, your rupee will continue to come down from 84 to 164. Because it's just importing and selling. So the burden of making these things is left to the medium companies, small companies, and micro companies. Okay, that's been a sad situation. It's been happening in America also. The Walmarts of the world, they've driven away all manufacturing from America. Because they know how to procure the goods. They have the size and influence and all that. Everything cheap, cheap, cheap. They'll go wherever it's cheaply made kind of thing. Driven away. I was there in America when there a lot of still manufacturing was going on. Today it doesn't exist. In our country it never started, because we started with Amazon and Flipkarts and this cart and that cart. So we have not even, not started and lost it kind of thing. We have not even started it. So it's very important that the incubators who are there, distributed kind of thing, most of you are the one who will actually help in really making the really valuable things that we have. Those, not only they save foreign exchange, but they create lots of jobs. There's delivery boys that you go around do create some jobs, but that's not the end of it. That's just only beginning of it. So as a country, we have to look at it. So many things that we consume today have to be made in this country. Normally, those things are done across the world. You go to China, also same thing. The big companies don't make them. It's a micro enterprises, it's a small enterprises, it's a medium enterprises who do it. So please focus on them, see how to help them. People like me are working with the government also, saying that please don't ignore them. There's a policy that's coming in. Government is also listening now. They also realized this. Initially they said we need large companies to come, FDI kind of thing. It's good. That phase is continuing. It's doing well. But the missing part of it, the MSME part, that's something. That's where most of you who are in the smaller towns or tier 1, tier 2 towns are the ones who can help those businesses. Okay. I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share a few of my thoughts.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.